Hi guys, I'm in my office, which is basically my room, which is basically the place where I'm staying in Bali for the next 2 months. I'm here today to talk about a very important topic and a very, let's say, general topic that everyone is interested to, because since I moved here in Bali, most common question is like, how do you actually make money online? How can you live in Bali? What is the process to live there? Do you need any type of visa? So in this informative video, I want to give you and share with you all the tips and information that I have about Bali, but also I want to make you aware of certain things that usually online, especially if you are watching all this beautiful travel blogger traveling around the world, people don't tell you before you move in these places. So just so you are aware, there are things that are hidden and you need to be aware of before you decide to move in Bali. I want to keep this informative video very simple, and I want to share with you some tips and also my experience that I have built up in the last 4 years living in Bali. So let's start with the first thing, which is if you decide to move in Bali in 2022 or in the future, you need to be aware that in order for you to work in Bali, you actually need a special visa. You need a work visa. You need a KITAS. KITAS, it's a work permit that lasts from 6 months up to 2 years, depending on what is your business and what you're actually going to do in Bali. And in order to apply for a KITAS, you need a sponsor or you need to be an investor. Why do you need a KITAS? Because think like that, if you are moving to Bali and even though you are actually not going to earn any money on the territory of Indonesia, you're still earning money in this country, and therefore you still need to pay tax, and therefore there are still regulations which you need to make sure to follow. When you actually decide to move to Bali, the first thing you should do, if you want to be more than 6 months in Indonesia, it is to apply for a KITAS. To apply for a KITAS, it's not a very simple process. You actually probably won't be able to do all by yourself. You need an agent. So you need to make sure to actually find a trustworthy agent here in Indonesia and to apply offshore. Or there's also the option for you to apply inshore. But the things get more complicated when you actually are already in Indonesia and you want to apply for a KITAS while you are in Indonesia. So I strongly suggest you to do it while you are outside, and then you can get in with your KITAS. And the good thing about KITAS is that yes, it allows you to work, but also it allows you to enter Indonesia as many times as you want. So it's a multiple entry visa. So you actually don't need to reapply again if you decide to leave for whatever reason to visit your family abroad. And then once you want to go back in, you have to apply again. No, you don't need to do that. You actually can enter and get away from Indonesia as many times as you want. Saying that, you're probably wondering, so all these travel influencer, blogger, all these people that move to Bali, they actually are on KITAS? Well, the reality is that most of the people that move to Bali actually are not on KITAS. They are on a social visa, or they are on a B211A visa, which is a new 6 months visa that Indonesian government decided to give to the pandemic to visitors, which is not a work visa, even though it's called a business visa. Or they are on a visa on arrival, which is basically a tourist visa, which is at the moment not issued in Indonesia. So actually you cannot enter Indonesia for free as it was before the pandemic. And therefore you have to be aware that if you're actually working in Indonesia without a KITAS, you are actually working illegally. And therefore you have to be very careful on what you do, because if the immigration will spot you working on the beach doing a beautiful photo shooting, or working as a makeup artist, or working as a digital nomad, let's say, you are actually not following the rules, and you will be fined as you are working illegally in Indonesia. So make sure that you actually have a KITAS if you decide to come to Indonesia and work from home or for a company or whatever. If you're working, you need to pay taxes. That's for sure. So the second thing that I want to make you aware of is that, as I said, to get the KITAS, but also to do many things in Indonesia, the bureaucracy, it's not very good. There's a lot of steps, a lot of people involved, and therefore everything is going to be way harder than it is when you are back home, for example. So don't be scared if you are overwhelmed, but also make sure you get advice from the right people. Make sure that if you don't know how to do something, you ask for advice to consultancy agency or agency that are actually there to help foreigners in order to establish their business in Indonesia. If you're asking me what's the best thing to do in Indonesia as a job, well, I'd say if you have some spare money, if you have some money available, cash, the best thing that you should do is to invest this money in Indonesia, and to invest this money in real estate, because it's not me saying that, but numbers are showing that in Indonesia there is the best return of investment in terms of investing in property and then reselling these properties or renting these properties. Most of foreigners that arrive in Indonesia and they have some good money to spend, they actually decide to build their own villa and then rent these villas or resell this villa, and they make a lot of profit on top of that. It's well known that actually the cost that you will have in order to build a villa will probably return it to you in within 6 months of renting that villa. So yeah, it's actually a good way to do business here in Indonesia, and I strongly suggest you to do that if you have some money available. And no, we are not talking about small money, because even though Indonesia is very cheap, the cost of building a good quality villa, it is what it is. So you need to make sure that you have at least $100,000 available in your bank account. Another way to let's say make money here in Indonesia, I'd say well, as you know, Indonesia is the capital of digital nomad, and especially Bali, it's the capital of digital nomad. Why? Because the life here is very cheap, because it's very easy to, let's say, have a luxury lifestyle without having a lot of money in your pocket. So therefore, what I strongly suggest is to actually get a job online before you actually enter Indonesia, because as a foreigner it's very hard to find job here in Indonesia, here in Bali. Even if you have like a lot of skills, or I'd say like you are very talented, you have to know that the market here it's very low. What they're gonna pay for your work is not gonna be the same as what they will pay if you work from abroad, because again, the Indonesian rupiah is not like a very strong currency, and again, the market is not very good for any type of like job industry apart from real estate. As I said, real estate in Bali, it's a very good thing, but again, in Bali, if you move to other places around Indonesia, you need to be very careful in what you're investing. So I'd say getting a job online, it's a key, it's fundamental. There are many jobs available online. You can look for jobs on LinkedIn, you can look for jobs on Fiverr, you can actually be a freelancer, so you can actually sell your services through your channel, social media, or you can actually be a crypto jig, so you can start investing in crypto and just live with that. Many people do that in Bali, for example. Now we jump to the last thing. Is like, I'd say it's very common to become comfortable in Bali, so you need to make sure and be aware that if you are a person that is very chill, you probably will lose a little bit of path on your work career. So Bali, it's very distracting. There's a very beautiful landscape here. You can go to the beach, you can meet people, there's a lot of things to do, and what it happens a lot of time is that you actually forget that you have to work, and people get very laid back here, and therefore they lose the path of making money, which is the thing why you moved probably to Bali in the first place. Make money, because Bali is, let's say, it's a very good place to actually work and save some money too. So I just want to tell you that if you're actually moving to Bali, you need to make yourself very motivated and stay very positive, stay very motivated for the whole time that you are living in these islands, because a lot of people will try to, no, come to the beach, no, come to watch the sunset, no, come to drink a coconut, and then you will forget about work. So from my personal experience, I say making money in Bali, it's not an easy thing if you're actually working online. So you need to actually have your job established before you move to Bali, because that's how you're gonna sustain yourself. Or if you have decided to move to Bali and you have some money available there, then you should definitely invest in real estate, because that's the thing that is gonna make you more rich than what you are already. I hope you enjoyed this informative video, and if you have any question, you can write it down. There's a comment bar below. And if you really enjoyed this video, you can please smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, and I'll see you at the next video. Ciao.